China did not release what appeared to be an ordinary update. According to the narrative, it released a verdict. There was no dramatic press conference, no warning, and no carefully staged announcement. Instead, a quiet upload appeared containing FITS files, photometric measurements, astrometric positions, and precisely timestamped data streams that slipped into the country's national archives like routine scientific paperwork. But those who examined the files reportedly did not see routine observations. They believed they saw confirmation of the very scenario many astronomers had hoped they would never face. The new Chinese observations of 3IO Atlas, allegedly collected during a mysterious 36-hour gap in Western astronomical coverage, was said not merely to fill a missing piece of the record but to rewrite the entire timeline. According to the claims, the object brightened when it should not have, expanded its coma in ways that challenged existing models, developed a tail structure inconsistent with earlier observations, and behaved with a precision that seemed difficult to explain using conventional comet physics. Strangest of all, the story suggests that while nothing about the object itself appeared to change, everything about our interpretation of it did. It was almost as if 3IO Atlas had not been waiting for solar heating at all, but for the brief moment when only one nation would be watching. According to the narrative, the timeline is the key, and that timeline is deeply troubling. On July 1, 2025, Chile's Atlas survey reportedly detected the object that would later be designated 3IO Atlas, becoming only the third confirmed interstellar visitor ever observed. From the moment astronomers calculated its trajectory, the story claims that something seemed unusual. It was not merely moving fast, it appeared to be moving faster than expected, traveling at a heliocentric speed of approximately 209,000 kilometers per hour along a path that clearly originated beyond the Sun's gravitational domain. Major Western observatories, including Hubble, the James Webb Space Telescope, the Very Large Telescope, VLT, and Gemini, was said to coordinate an extensive campaign to monitor its evolution continuously. Then, according to the narrative, just as the object entered the most scientifically valuable stage of its journey, observations suddenly stopped. A 36-hour period reportedly saw multiple major observatories offline for scheduled activities such as gyroscope realignment, mirror maintenance, instrument changes, mission priorities, and routine servicing. The remarkable alignment of these maintenance windows is presented as creating a brief but critical gap in global astronomical coverage. The story claims that during this observational blackout, 3IO Atlas passed dangerously close to the Sun's glare, the exact phase when a comet is expected to reveal its true nature through intense outgassing, jet formation, changing dust-to-gas ratios, coma expansion, and structural stress within its nucleus. These processes are considered essential for understanding the physical composition and behavior of a comet. According to the narrative, a completely natural object would have nothing unusual to conceal, whereas an extraordinary one might reveal its most significant characteristics during precisely this period. While Western observatories were reportedly unable to observe the object, China's high-altitude facilities in Tibet, Qinghai, and Yunnan allegedly continued operating without interruption. Free from maintenance schedules and benefiting from favorable observing conditions, these stations are said to have recorded continuous astrometric measurements, coma expansion rates, tail morphology, multifilter photometry, dust grain distributions, and brightness evolution curves. Every observation was reportedly timestamped with millisecond precision, processed through advanced cooling systems operating in the cold mountain air, and transmitted through redundant fiber optic networks to research centers in Beijing and Nanjing. According to the account, what Chinese astronomers observed differed dramatically from what Western scientists expected when observations resumed. The coma reportedly did not merely expand, it expanded toward the Sun. The tail allegedly lengthened at an unusually rapid rate, while the object's brightness increased by approximately 0.3 magnitudes within only a few hours. Even more surprising, the dust profile was said to shift toward unusually large carbon-rich grains, a result the narrative describes as unprecedented for an object with its supposed chemical characteristics. Rather than simply filling the missing observations, the story argues that China's data exposed entirely new behavior. To appreciate the significance of these claims, the narrative explains the role of a comet's coma, a cloud of gas and dust released as solar heating causes frozen materials to sublimate. Yet the story insists that 3IO Atlas did not simply awaken as ordinary comets do. Instead, it appeared to react, respond, and communicate through changes in its particle emissions. The narrative continues by claiming that even before the observational gap, the James Webb Space Telescope and the SPH-REx mission had already detected unusual characteristics within the coma, particularly an apparent dominance of carbon dioxide rather than water vapor. This, it suggests, implied a thermal history unlike that of typical comets originating within our solar system. Then, during the 36-hour blackout, when solar radiation reached its peak, Chinese observations allegedly recorded a sequence of events including a sudden increase in brightness, an expanding wave through the coma, and a systematic restructuring of the surrounding dust cloud. According to the story, these changes were not random outbursts caused by solar heating but part of an organized pattern that could only be recognized through continuous minute-by-minute monitoring. Because China's telescopes reportedly maintained uninterrupted observations while Western facilities remained offline, the narrative claims they captured the complete sequence. By the time the James Webb Space Telescope and the Very Large Telescope resumed operations, the object had reportedly traveled approximately 1.2 million kilometers, making it extremely difficult to reconstruct its behavior using isolated observations alone. China's continuous dataset, the story argues, effectively bridged that missing interval.